one and only Sam Stewart.
Stewart.
When are they going to put porn on Netflix? Like, when is this going to happen? You know, I'm not the only one that's wondering. It's like, when is that going to happen? Because I'm sick of beating my dick to that one scene in Monsters Ball. Right? Like, when are they going to do that? Here's how I found out I hate the big brother, little brother thing, right? You know what I'm saying? So I go,
Hello, everybody. How are you? Hi, Smanstew. How are you? Uh-oh. I'm over here seeing you spinning. Can you see me?
Yeah, I see.
All right. Oh, there we go. Hey, Smanstew. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I was just playing your old videos and everything. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at it. I'm like, all right, you didn't grow your hair and everything. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I did the whole thing, man. We're doing pretty good. Still alive.
I know, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. How long you been doing comedy?
Oh, man. Since October 29th of 2009. I'll never forget that.
Okay, tell me what happened. I gotta hear it.
So I was in the Navy, right?
Okay.
And yeah, I was in the Navy, and then a friend of mine was like, "Yo, dude, you should do this comedy show." Because I was always like kind of the funny guy in the office. And a friend of mine was like, "Dude, you should do this comedy show that they're having like close to the base." And I was like, "I don't know about that, dude. It's one thing, man. Funny in front of people you know, but I don't know about being funny in front of a bunch of strangers." But anyway, what happened was I decided, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. The universe is telling me to do it. I'm gonna do it. I've been wanting to do it since I was like 11. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do it, right? What happens is my boat goes out, right? So they have everybody, they recall everybody, and we all got to go to the boat, right? Say, oh, my homie. But so I get on the boat, and I'm bummed because I'm like, dang, dude, like I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm like feeling really bad about it. And then we break a rudder outside of Mexico, right? And I'm like, well, we're going to be here for a while. I asked my boss, I'm like, yo, man, would it be okay if I get off the boat to, do this comedy show? And he was like, yeah. Yeah. So I got off the boat to go do the comedy show. I fly back to the boat, and I want to say maybe 10 days. Well, I do the comedy show, and I do that. And then I come back, and then 10 days later, I was actually out of the military. You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of worked out that, stuff started happening at the same time.
Did you graduate out of the military, or your time was up out of the military?
Yeah, my time was up. I did my active duty service. So I was done finally. Yeah.
Wow. So now you grew up in New York, or was it California?
No, I grew up in D.C. Yeah, I grew up in D.C.
I mean, I know there's a lot of things probably change over the years, but how was it back in D.C.?
Oh, man. I grew up in the 90s, man, and this was D.C.'s, golden era because it was still black. But, yeah, it was dope growing up in D.C. You got to see every part of society had black people in it, right? So I grew up around all these black people who was helping each other out, man, was doing what they wanted to do. They had businesses and, was doing their thing, man. So, dude, D.C. was, the place to be. And I grew up, I would go to Virginia. I lived in Philly for a little while. I lived in New York for a little while. And I'm telling you, man, D.C. is special. D.C. is, it's special, man. Yeah.
Wow. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, this is D.C., you got the ghetto stream, and then you got, right where the White House is down the street from the ghetto.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, where I grew up, originally, it was really bad. But if you walked out of my grandmother's house and you look right, you could see the Capitol building. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then I think if you walked up maybe 4 or 5 blocks and you turn, I think left, you could see the White House. So we were really, really in the middle of my grandmother took me to see bills being voted on, right? When I was a kid, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is how you make laws and stuff, And then the next day there was drive-bys and stuff, right? So it was you were in the middle of everything. It was a good joint to be in.
Wow. But now let me ask you this. So are you doing any Netflixes? Do you have any plans for Netflix in the future, or?
Nah, man, it's funny. A lot of my friends have done Netflix specials, and a lot of them are going that route, and which is fine. I commend them. I'm happy for them. I'm telling you, I got into comedy at the perfect spot because a lot of my friends who I did comedy with are getting famous now, right? So
Right.
super awesome, man. I'm really proud of them. You know what I'm saying? But I had to put like those aspirations on the back burner a little bit because I went to school, right? So,
Hmm.
and then I decided to keep going. So, like, once I'm out of school, I think, then I'll, probably do, the Netflix stuff or like, I did the ABC thing, the ABC thing they do every year. So I did that. The last time I was standing, I did the audition for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done festivals and stuff, which is great. And to me, that's why I like stand up because stand up, you can do basically what you want. Like, we don't have to do specific things or go a specific route. My favorite comics are role comics, So like the
Right.
guys, like you see them, you're like, hey, I kind of know that guy, but they're like slinging jokes over the country. Like that's like where I want to be. I'm not trying to be like these like superstars and everybody knows when they're hounding them. I'm like, I want to be able to have a regular life, being can I drop names? Can I do that? Is that okay?
Yes. And any
Oh.
Sleepy Bay said, are you doing any biography movies? We all want you to, we want to see you grow. So, maybe you can do your biography movies or
Yeah.
any somebody else's biography. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make sure to let you all know who I'm got on my stage right now. Well, not my stage, but my platform, which is comedian and still man, he's a great comedian. I looked him up. I saw his profile yesterday, and I said, I gotta have him on my podcast. So this is his interview. This is his moment. So we're not gonna rain or shine on his moment. So we're gonna give him his whole full best. So please respect that, ladies and gentlemen. So, but Stewie, so this is what I had to ask you. Do you remember Boogie B, or do you have any moments with Boogie B? And I know you probably don't know who Boogie B is.
No, I saw stuff on I saw him like going down my timeline. I've met a lot of people doing stand up. Everybody knows. When you do stand up, you meet tons and tons and tons of comics. And what I like doing is like taking pictures with all the comics I meet, even if it's just once. And I've been doing it since 2009. I had to have done a show with him at some point because it's just too much on my timeline at this point for me to have never been around him, right? You know what I'm saying? But I have a lot of friends who've passed recently, comedy friends. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a sad thing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super sad. So yeah, I've seen this stuff on my timeline. I'm pretty sure. Looking at his face, I'm pretty sure at some point we did some shows together. But yeah, it's just sad.
Yeah, it is. And and I was a very good, on his mainly one of his closest fans or supporters, mainly his supporters because I used to always buy his badges, and I told him like, time is up, but I got a badge for you. I supported with his energy bars. He always said, "Get my energy bars now, Bonnie Chambers. Put that dang on cup of coffee down." But it was more time moments that where, he was funny when he was doing his comedy shows, and I just wanted to know, are you planning on doing any shows on your platform like most comedies are doing now, like going on, getting the idea and making a joke about it and, doing
Yeah, I
that?
mean, yeah, I have some shows lined up. So I got some stuff that I'm doing lined up. I'm headlining some shows in March, so I'm like really excited about that. Featuring some shows in January. So I have a show on the 21st that I'm super excited about. So I can't wait for that to happen. So yeah, just
Oh, so
excited about
that's
that.
like tours for you, right? So I know a lot of you all are doing tours.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did an East Coast tour. I've done a couple of tours. I've joined a couple of tours. So that's to me that's like heaven. Like being on tour, doing shows, being in hotels. A lot of guys hate the hotel stuff and like being on tour, eating the nasty food, but I love it. I love it.
I love hotel foods. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Went to one hotel and they had a full restaurant in there, and I'm like, oh wow, let me go ahead and try their food out. And it was
yeah,
off the chain. It was so good. So let
yeah.
me ask you this: during the pandemic, and I know we just got past the pandemic. Thank God we got past it, but we still got the virus going on, whatever the case could be. How did it affect you during your comedy time of touring?
Well, it's funny, man. You know, a lot of us did, you know, the Zoom shows, which I hated. I'll be honest, I hated them. But you know, there were people who did shows, and I was able to get a couple of shows because people were still doing shows where we weren't supposed to be doing shows.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, and a lot of my friends just shut it down. They just decided not to do shows or whatever. But you know, I snuck in a couple.
Yeah.
You know, I got it in there. So you know, it didn't slow me down too much, but yeah, it was unfortunate.
Wow. And not only that, you know, so what is your biggest advice to tell these new comedians that is trying, you know, trying to get on the stage? What is your best advice to give to them?
You know, to me, I tell guys, you have to find the comic that you're going to be, right? That's your job, is to find, especially early on, find the kind of comic you're going to be, because once you do that, then you're fearless. You know,
Right.
I feel like I'm completely myself when I'm on stage. And when I finally found who that comic was going to be, dude, sky's the limit. You can walk on stage with no material and still kill it, right? So, you know, I tell guys, you know, you got to find your thing, you know, and that means watching guys who are better than you. You know, I know a lot of guys don't like watching other comics. You know, they'll do their set, walk outside and talk to all the comics or whatever, or they'll leave. But that's a lot of guys. You got to watch other comics, man, because that's how you figure out, okay, that guy's doing this thing here, you know. You know, I saw Chris Rock talk about how he learned how to pace on stage because of other comics, you know. So you got to, like, you find little things that you can tweak here and tweak there, and then all of a sudden, you're so comfortable that you're not even, like, you know, worried about, like, okay, this is going to land, you know, this is going to be funny, you know what I'm saying? Like, that goes away, and you're just trying to be the best comic that you can be that night, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I tell them, like, dude, just figure out who you're going to be. Figure out the comic that's going to be who's going to be making those people laugh. And that's your job. Your job is to make them laugh. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life, you know, or around us. Your job is to make them laugh, and that's it.
Now, who inspired you in the comedy world? Who has the biggest inspire of your comics? Like any.
You know what? So my dad, right? My dad used to go to work and come home and tell us these stories from when he was at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they were hilarious. I was like, man, this stuff is like super funny, right? And I remembered, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to school. Something's gonna happen, and I'm gonna tell my dad when I get home, right? And then I forgot what it was. Like, I get home and I'm like excited to tell him, and I couldn't remember what it was, right? So my dad was like, well, why don't you just write down what happened? You know, just write it down. So I was like, okay, cool. Right. So that's literally like what I do now. Like, when I have a notebook that I carry 24/7, you know what I'm saying? It's always on me. It's part of the uniform. But I was like, my dad was the only funny person I knew. I didn't know there were other funny people. You know, I'm a kid, right? And then he takes me downstairs one day into the basement, and we start listening to stand-up, which I didn't know what it was. And I'm like, yeah, what is this? What is this guy doing? And he's like, oh, this guy's a comic. And I was like, well, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to make people laugh, because he was laughing. And I was like, I got to make my dad laugh, right? And it was Richard Pryor, okay? So I started listening to Richard Pryor on vinyl. So, like, literally, like, the vinyl Richard Pryor albums, I started listening to those. And I knew very quickly I couldn't be that funny. I was like, nobody is this funny. Like, this guy is special. But I started watching stand-up, you know, when HBO starts doing stand-up at Showtime, and Chris Rock starts, you know, doing his thing.
Right.
And I was like, this guy is smart. You know, he's not doing, like, it just felt like he was doing comedy in a niche that I felt like I could get into. Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I just watched him. I watched him ascend, and I was like, dude, that's if I do comedy, it's got to be like this guy. This has got to be the bar. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, him and Dave, but like early Dave, not Dave now. Like early Dave that like really wasn't getting his props, like people really couldn't figure him out or whatever. I was like, that's where I want to be. I want to be like in those two spaces. You know, killing him softly, Dave, and like bigger and blacker Chris Rock. Like, that's where I want to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now look at you today. I mean, you blowing up. You blowing all over the place.
Yeah,
And
you know,
I
I'm
know
doing
that you grew your hair. How long did it take for you to grow your hair? Because when I seen you on this here on YouTube, I said, this cannot be the same person. And then when I looked up, I said, wait a minute, he done got dreads on.
Nah, it grew Yeah, it grew pretty quickly. Like I shaved because I used to shave my hair like completely off, right? And I
Yeah.
want to say, yeah, 2019, the beginning of 2019 is when I shaved it, and I remember the day. It was December 30th, so of 2018, right? So beginning of 2019, and I went to a barber just to get lined up, and he messed it up, right? Like he messed it up. So I was like, well, just cut the whole thing off, you know?
And this is
And
when he did not have hair, ladies and
yeah,
gentlemen.
yeah, that's him. That's the boy.
That's when before he didn't have hair. He used to shave it all off, and now look
Yeah,
at him. He growing
yeah.
his hair, guys. He actually got hair that he could just sling around left and
Oh yeah.
right. Wow. So
Yeah.
how old were you on this here video? Let me go
On that
back.
one, I might have been 26 or 27, maybe.
Yeah, 9 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, wait, 9 years ago, so I was 20. Yeah, I was 25 or 26. Yeah, 25 or 26.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. See, there you go. There you
yeah,
go, ladies and
yeah.
gentlemen. And I wanted to say thank you. You know, I know it's like at a last minute on, turn. I said, I gotta have you on there. I've been doing all comedies this week, and I said, I gotta have him. I gotta have him. And then when I started, I was like a Facebook stalking on your page. I'm like, let me go ahead and stroll. Okay, let me go ahead and do some more. And I'm like, oh, and I pressed the play button. I'm like, this man is hilarious.
Oh, that's love. That's love. I feel that.
Yes, I wanted to say thank you so much, and I know I gave you my whole full 30 minutes. I didn't tell you what time I get off, but can you do like one or two, Joseph, if you can?
Okay, yeah. Well, first off, I'm from the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? And when I got to the West Coast, I live in California now. There's some stuff that they have out here that we just don't have on the East Coast, dude. Like we just don't have it. And one of them is like literally the 99-cent store, right? Like I go in a 99-cent store and I'm like, yo, like everything's like 99 cents and it's dope. And one of our friends from the East Coast, Jerome, he's in Philadelphia. He flies to California one day and I'm like, bro, gotta take it to the 99-cent store, right? And this was a good day. This was a good day because we walk in and usually, they don't have like any name brand stuff, right? Like it's all 99 cents. But this is a good day because they had like name brand Doritos. And I was like, yo, they got Doritos for $1, right? I'm freaking out. And Jerome runs up and he's like, dude, that's nothing. I just went in the condom aisle and they have Trojan condoms in the condom aisle. And I was like, yo, they got Trojan condoms in the condom aisle? He's like, yeah. And it gets better than that. They're flavored and they taste like cheesecake. And I was like, bro, we're not supposed to know that. Like,
Right. Unless it's the one that
right. You know what I'm saying? So, I tell little stories like that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's like my little spot. Yeah.
Wow. And I wanted to say thank you so much. Tell everybody where they can find you.
I'm on all social medias at Smanstew. So Smanstew. Smanstew.
And it's my pleasure again. I know it's like 30 minutes and I'm timing myself with the 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, man, it's almost 24. So yeah, so I'm keeping my time going because I don't want to bore nobody and everybody like, oh, okay, 30 minutes, that's all I give a person. So I just want to say thank you. I had to have you on here. And I was very honored and appreciated that you decided to come at the last minute and everything. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And yes, and whenever you come to Chicago or Indiana, I will be there.
Wonderful love.
Alrighty, thank you, sir. And I'll talk to you later. Alrighty. Bye-bye. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was Smanstew. Yay! So, positive mind, positive energy, and don't let nobody take your joy away from you, no matter what happens, what you do in life, because everything that you do will have a reflecting on you. Good night. I love you guys and have a blessed Saturday evening. Bye bye.